Hi folks, the Filipina here. And for the past 4 years, I've been listening to the concerns of guys who are taking a serious look at changing their lives by coming to the Philippines. Any big move like this is bound to cause some anxiety. And when you're also considering a relationship with a woman from another culture, your worries can multiply. So let's talk about what haunts your mind when faced with the prospect of not only moving halfway around the world, but also forging a new relationship. As you know, we Filipinas have our share of insecurities too. But what are the things that concern you guys? Now, I know not all these fears are common to every man. Different personalities and different life situations result in different worries. But I'll tell you what I think your worst fears are, and you can tell me where I got it right, got it wrong, and what I might have missed. Now, let's take a look into the deep abyss of apprehension, shall we? Buying an illusion. Your biggest fear that this whole idea of looking to a foreign country to find the woman of your dreams is just that, a dream that will quickly turn into a nightmare worthy of Dante's Inferno. There's a little corner of your mind that believes what your ex-wife, your friends, family, and co-workers might have said when they've wondered, what's wrong with you, that you can't find a good woman in your part of the world. You're a fool for wrecking your whole life to chase some young mail-order bride in a third world country. You're just a dirty old man with a bad case of yellow fever, and they're gonna chew you up and spit you out. They seem to think you're walking the plank with a blindfold of delusions wrapped tightly around your balding head. And you're gonna be ruined by the time you realize just how stupid you are. And that stings when you hear it because a piece of you believes that, yep, you might be buying a big old bottle of snake oil that everyone else knows it's worthless, but you're too foolish, gullible, or desperate to see it for what it really is. After all, your life experience has taught you that when something looks too good to be true, it probably is. Your biggest fear is that everyone else was right. What people don't understand, of course, until they've been through it, is that you realize something's not right in your home country. There's an imbalance in the force. It seems like everything suddenly turned against you while you were just minding your own business, working hard most of the time, and trying to be a productive member of society, just like your parents taught you to be. But now your women and your society in general have made you feel unwelcome in your own backyard. You might have been financially and emotionally devastated by the court system there. You've been made to feel like you don't deserve a place at the table, that you're disrespected or even despised. Your prospect for finding happiness on your home turf ain't looking so good. You feel like a man without a country, and you've decided to look to friendlier shores. Or maybe it's just as simple as you're being attracted to Asian women that live a traditional lifestyle. So you've decided to investigate a place where you can find what you're looking for. But either way, it's a risky plan. And when there's risk, there's fear. Wallet worries. Do you have enough money to make it here? What will everything cost? Can you live a decent lifestyle? Is the money you have left after being screwed by everyone else in your life gonna be enough? And will you have the money necessary to hold the interest of a Filipina? Which opens the door to your biggest financial concern. Is the woman you're dating just after your money? Are you just some dumb clown whose sole purpose is to provide for her family, like a dog infested with ticks, draining his lifeblood as he happily wags his tail? If you invest in a house or a business for your Filipina, is she gonna end up laughing all the way to the bank while you end up begging other foreigners for a plane ticket back home with your tail between your legs and the maniacal laughter of your ex ringing in your ears? Wow, even I could feel the blast of those truth bombs half a world away. So, how much of it is love and how much of it is money? Well, I'm not here today to evaluate each of those fears, but I've tried my best to provide you foreigners with the tools necessary to avoid most of those traps if you're careful and take my advice. But yes, those are the financial concerns that foreigners have about getting involved with us Filipinas, and rightly so. Failure to launch. Okay, we Filipinas have them, and we know you guys have them too. Fears about your body. The ravages of time spare no one. So it only makes sense that the older you are, the more concerned you're going to be about how attractive you are to the opposite sex. Looking like you just swallowed a beach ball isn't a particularly attractive feature in any culture. And neither is a forest of hair sprouting from your ear canals. Fortunately for the foreigners, we Filipinas not only accept graceful signs of aging, but in our culture, an older man is not only respected, but can be very attractive to us as well. Contrary to the fears of many foreigners, who often come from societies where an acceptable age difference is no more than 10 years, in their minds, if we're with someone a little older than that, we must be faking it, which is often not the case. As for sexual performance, foreigners can even have concerns there as well. Aside from age, which of course can make the act more difficult, many of them feel the pressure of trying to please a Filipina since they expect us to be blown away by their experience and technique. They have the performance anxiety of providing us with a legendary encounter that we'll be telling our friends about for years or laughing about for decades. Talk about pressure! Relationship realities. The first thing that often comes to mind when you look at a picture of your beautiful Filipina, especially when she's much younger than you, is how could this angel, this gorgeous creature possibly be interested in me? You think you must be kidding yourselves to believe that you could keep us happy for a lifetime. But isn't it interesting that that's the exact same question we Filipinos ask ourselves when thinking about you? And there's a whole host of other worries that trouble you. You believe we might cheat on you, that we might trick you into a pregnancy, that we might already be married or have kids or husbands that you don't know about, or that we might suddenly shift to a bad place on the crazy hot matrix graph. Maybe we'll get too jealous, maybe we'll become too demanding, maybe we'll just go cold once we get what we want. Well, most of those things can, and occasionally do, happen in all relationships, so that's nothing new. But if you decide to take us home to the West, your insecurities can multiply faster than tribbles in a grain silo. Remember the car analogy I used in another video, where I said that once you came to the Philippines, you'd feel like a customer at a car dealership, where you could choose anything on the lot for free. Well, now your Filipina is the customer, and she's able to pick and choose pretty much any model she likes. And this time, the dealership's jammed with pushy salesmen trying to get her in the back seat of anything on the lot. You know this is true, and you fear it. You're also worried that we might become westernized, especially if we're very young and you're well aware of the divorce rates in your home country. By this time, you've married us, so the cost of miscalculation could be disastrous. You might not want to live in the Philippines, but taking us back to the West is risky too. What to do, what to do. The end game. Even if you successfully conquered all your other worries and found the perfect Filipina, and you've been together for years, and everything seems fine, you still have fears about what happens next. The biggest one, we will still love you when you're old? I mean, really old. No one wants to be alone in their golden years, so you want to choose your mate wisely. And what happens to your partner if you pass away first? Can you still support her after you're gone? What if you started a family with your Filipina? Will they be okay? Will you stay healthy long enough to properly raise your kids and be the loving mentor that they need? Well, I'm certainly not in a position to address those fears for you, but I can tell you that your chances are pretty good when it comes to having us stand by you. We Filipinas are notoriously good caregivers. We're loyal to the ones we love. We're dedicated mothers. And we respect people of advanced age. Sure, there are evil or misguided people on both sides of the Pacific, but I tend to believe that in most people, the desire to be a decent human being outweighs their less honorable intentions. When people say all Filipinos are con artists just waiting to take your money, they're just so wrong. Sure, there are dishonest and desperate Filipinas that will bleed you dry, but tell me a country where that's not the case. And when someone says all expats are just broken down rejects fleeing their own countries to prey on young naive girls, all I can say is that you're wrong there too. Sure, some men are like that, and I have no sympathy for them when they take advantage of my fellow Filipina sisters. But that's just not the average foreigner. When someone says things like that, they're seeing what they want to see and reacting to their own limited experiences with a person from another culture. I'm truly sorry if you get burned by someone, foreigner or Filipina. But think about it. Don't people from all societies get burned sometimes? What we need to do is understand our fears and each other. Because when there's honest understanding, there's trust. Where there's trust, there's less fear. When we no longer fear, we can actually have successful relationships, and nothing would make me happier than that. So relax a little, and just try to see things as objectively and realistically as you can, and let me know your other fears, the ones I missed. Meanwhile, I'll be cooking up something new for you to chew on. Till next time, folks. And now, since it seems to be such a deep-rooted concern with some men, I'm going to expand on their fears about sexual performance. I worked long and hard on this, and I was in quite a pickle, not knowing the best way to handle it until I discovered the work of a group of researchers. So now, I can share their findings and get to the nut of the matter. Drs. John Thomas, Dick Peters, Willie Johnson, and Harry Longfellow have been studying the relationship between age and sexual insecurities, and we can plot their data on the graph. If I can just get this knob off. There we go. The x-axis is age, and the y-axis is the amount of insecurity a man has. The main vein of the doctor's research shows a heavy concentration of data points here and here, indicating that both relatively young men and older men both show a high amount of insecurity. The interesting thing happens during middle age, when a man's stress level drops dramatically and he becomes more confident in his abilities. I suppose they get cocky about it. But then, an Asian researcher, Lo Wang, discovered a subset of men who only have a teeny-weeny bit of insecurity way down here. So there you have it, folks. Just let this research penetrate and sink in for a moment. Ow! I pricked my finger. If you think about it, I'm kind of like your nurse, attending to your needs and making sure you get a healthy dose of what's good for you, in the form of informational and funny videos. After all, laughter is the best medicine. The only thing I ask for my service is that you hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so I'll know when you need assistance. Please also check out my Patreon page for extra content and exclusive features. And while you're recuperating, why not enjoy some of my other videos too? So, are you ready?